So our life skill for this segment is belief or yes, I can. And we're going to specifically talk about belief in ourselves. Belief is a commitment to a goal so that the only outcome is the desired goal. So if we want to be world champion, we have to believe in ourselves. So the only thing that happens is we are world champion. So it takes a big commitment. There is negative belief and there's positive belief. Obviously, positive is better. Another one of my sayings I like is whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct. So if you have a positive outlook on life and you think you can do anything, you will be able to do anything you want to do. If you have a negative outlook on life, you don't think you can do something, you're not going to be able to do it. Before we believe in anything else, though, we have to believe in ourselves. We are all born with unlimited potential to be successful. We only have to believe that we can be successful. Belief is a very, very powerful emotion tool, whatever you want to call it. It's just very, very powerful. We're all going to face obstacles throughout our life, and we have to want to overcome them to be successful. Another saying is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So that's a little bit about belief in ourselves. We'll talk about some of the other forms of belief later. But again, belief is a very, very powerful thing. And you're either going to be, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're going to be right. So the next part of our video, we're going to talk about the blocks. The 4 new blocks in the blue belt form are the low X block, the ridge hand block, the knife hand square block, and the side high low block. We're not going to talk a whole lot about the knife hand square block because we talked about it at purple belt. The only difference between a purple belt, the hands were closed. Here the hands are going to be open, so the knife hand is the blocking tool. The side high-low block is just like a high-low block that we've talked about before. It just happens to be to the side. We will see that again in phase C, I believe, or phase D of our form, and the opposite of phase D. So we'll talk a little bit about it then. So the low X block. The purpose of the low X block is to block a front kick or a low strike. It is a thrusting technique. It is a very strong technique because we're using both hands as opposed to just one hand if we were doing a low block. Not as much strength involved in there if we do a low X block using both of our hands. We block with the top of our hands, which is unusual because normally we block either with the inner or the outer. In this case, we're going to block with this part. So as the X comes down, the goal is to catch whatever the technique is between the X. So we're blocking with the top part of our arms. One of the things that I can't stress enough, unless you're an opponent of mine, do not lean forward when you are blocking. Don't ever lean forward unless you're fighting me, and then it's okay to lean forward. I beg you to lean forward. And then we'll talk a little bit about hand and foot timing. So how this block starts, it's going to start like we're doing a double punch, but it is going to, the trajectory is down. We're going to do this in a front stance. So I'll do it to the side so you can see a little bit at an angle. So the trajectory is down, and it is a thrusting block. So the power comes in the moving down. Again, we are trying to catch that whatever we're blocking between our arms, between that X. So follow through, we would want to stop, obviously, wherever the block is. That was incorrect what I just did because my front leg is forward, my left leg is forward, my left hand needs to be most visible, meaning it is closest. I can see my whole arm. If my right leg were forward, my right hand would be, so I'm calling on top. I choose to call it most visible. That's what Eternal Grandmaster Lee uses in the Encyclopedia of the Way. He uses most visible. Joint position, there's nothing special about this. We just want to make sure that those hands are nice and strong. We don't want to be bending either way. We don't want to be bending forward or backward. We just want a nice, strong, just as if we're punching, straight joint there for our block. So that is the low X block. The next one we're going to talk about is a ridge hand block. The purpose of the ridge hand block, and we've not discussed this ever before, but is to disable the attacker's tool, whatever they're attacking about. And I'll explain that a little bit more when we get in this. It is a swinging technique, and we block with the ridge hand part of our hand. Now, this is where we're going to talk a little bit about joint position and a little bit more about where we're blocking. We are blocking with this part of our hand here. We want our thumb out of the way as opposed to a knife hand where the thumb is out. We want that thumb hidden because we're blocking here. Now, the joint position, we don't want our hand out like this because the first thing that's going to block is our fingers. We want a little bit more like this. So as I'm coming out, I'm blocking with this part of my hand between the bone and about right there. That's where we're blocking. So we want that obviously to lead the way. We don't want our fingers to lead the way, or we're not going to get the same benefit out of that block as we would if the blocking tool leads the way of the block. So the chamber position for this, as I'm chambering this, my blocking hand is underneath. So if I'm blocking with my right hand is underneath. My left hand is just going to come back like it does in a lot of the other techniques to that rechamber position, and my blocking hand is going to come out this way. It is normally used to block something high, so to block something coming to the neck, the head. So that block would be here, about eye level here. I don't want to stop here, obviously, because I'm going to get kicked in the head. I want it to go beyond where whatever they're trying to attack is blocked. So that block from the front, chamber is underneath, out this way. We want about a 90-degree angle here, a 45-degree angle here. So it should look like this. From the front, here. Again, my hand isn't pointed that way. My hand is pointed this way, so I'm blocking here. Now, I talked a little bit before about I'm trying to disable my opponent. If my opponent is punching me and I do that block, there are nerves that run all up and down here. So if I can block hard enough and I can get one of those nerves, or there's also nerves in the leg. If they're kicking and they happen to kick high and I can block that leg and I can get one of those nerves, it's going to make either their hand or their leg / foot go numb. Therefore, they won't be able to use it again. So Eternal Grandmaster Lee says all blocks are strikes and all strikes are blocks. So therefore, even though this is a block, I want to have a lot of power in there so that I'm meeting that, whatever that technique is, right at one of the nerves, if possible. So that's what I meant by we're using it to disable the attacking tool. So we're going to talk just a little bit about respect. And one of the tenets of respect is confidence. So we have to have confidence in our ability, a lot like belief that we talked about a little earlier. We have to have confidence in our abilities to get better at any techniques. Again, if we think we can, we will. If we think we can't, we also will. So respect and belief, confidence, belief go hand in hand. And so we talked today about a little bit about belief in ourselves. We talked about respect and how confidence takes part, a little part of that respect. And we talked about the new blocks for the blue belt form. And that's it. And we'll see you next video.